time to take a TO with Coaches Turner and O'Neill. Produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy.
It's time to take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Your new favorite podcast features conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro sports, along with other riveting content. Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast and on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, or visit www.turnerando'neill.com. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, and more than 15 podcast platforms. We also invite you into the studio each week via YouTube. Subscribe and watch each episode on our YouTube channel at Turner O'Neill Podcast. Thanks to our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. And our donors, Winsight Media, Gene the Barber, Body and Beyond Wellness, and Justin O'Neill. Take a TO with Coach Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by me, DJ Krissy. Now we welcome you to today's episode as we take a TO with Coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Here's your host, Kurtis Cross.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 13 of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. I am Kurtis Cross, your host, and with me as always is Coach Steve Turner and Coach Casey O'Neill. Our engineer is DJ Krissy, and together we welcome you into the studio for this week's episode. Our premier partner for Season 2 is Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Ray is a friend of the program, and he is the only mortgage lender we endorse right here at Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ray Cruz is Mortgage Intelligently. We'd like to thank our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and the Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. This week, we are talking local and national sports right here in the studio with Coach Steve Turner, Coach Casey O'Neill, with me as your host and moderator, and of course, DJ Krissy. But first, you know what? Krissy, how was the weekend? We're gonna flip.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Let's go. Krissy, how was the weekend?
Ladies first.
It was a good weekend. We had
first.
some nice weather again. We got a little bit of yard work done. Had to hit Home Depot. Oh, the mulch.
Until last night when that wind came.
And then it's like winter all over again.
The wind was cranking last night.
It was insane.
You know how much it was cranking? Blew over my pool ladder and broke it.
Damn.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
Took another hike.
I was going to say, you took another hike.
I did.
So real quick, so you mentioned Home Depot and the mulch. So my neighbor, actually the wife of one of the friends of the program, you hear Todd Bradley, DC sports fan, or Sports Extra, does a... So his wife, they've got a little 3-year-old girl. She went to get some mulch to get ready, and I saw her today. I was walking the dog, and you can never get enough mulch because you always think you've bought enough bags at the Home Depot. And she's like, I underestimated having a 3-year-old carrying the bags, trying to get at a Home Depot. Still didn't get enough mulch. So she got to go back over there and pick it up.
I've
Shout out
been
to
through
Heather.
those days. Krissy got enough. You got 8 bags, 10 bags?
I got 10.
Yeah, Krissy knows what she's doing. She doesn't underestimate her mulch.
It makes the
I'm
car
not
smell a
going
little
back.
better too, right?
She's not going back.
It'll be 2 inches thick if it's got to be, but it's not. I'm not going back.
Not going.
She'll get too much before she gets too little. Coach Turner, how was the weekend? You got to see some action, of course. You like this time of year.
Good. Oof, some great games.
Right.
Great basketball. So, fun weekend. Chilled out with the family. Hung around the house. Watched a lot of hoops. Peeked in on a little bit of lacrosse.
Okay.
Checking out Jared. Going through AAU tryouts. So, it was a hoops weekend for Coach Turner.
All right. Weather didn't hurt, right?
Weather didn't hurt at all.
Did you go out at all this weekend and grab something to eat? Or
Did we go anywhere this weekend?
I know Jared likes his chips and salsa, right? Or chips and queso.
We definitely hit after workouts. We definitely hit Chipotle a couple times.
Him and his queso.
Chick. He likes Chick too. Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hit Chick one of the days too.
That boy can eat, can't he?
He can. I need him to keep eating so he can keep growing.
How about that? Coach O'Neill, your travels went beyond the DMV.
Yes.
Correct.
Safely. So talk to us about that.
Very happy that I'm fully vaccinated. It's been well over 2 weeks since my second shot went down. Visited my main man Cole in Clemson, South Carolina. And again, happy to be vaccinated, to be on a plane for the first time, and I can't even tell you when, to be able to see him. They had a nice, great banquet for the lacrosse team. Speaking of good food, on Saturday I took him and some of his roommates to go get some food, and it was this place called the Smoked Pig, and it was off the side of this country highway, and you could just see the smokestack and the brisket.
Smell it coming down the road?
And the pulled pork and the pulled chicken. Took those guys to, breakfast at 11 a.m. for those guys.
Okay.
It's more like a big lunch, but it was so great to see him and see some of the other families from the Clemson lacrosse program. And real quick, I got a gift.
Why is it always real quick?
This is real quick. That's one of my phrases. You guys, look, I bring in stuff, Gonzaga lacrosse stuff, and it's a family here, but Coach Turner always goes above and beyond, right? Especially around Christmas time.
He definitely does.
He goes above and beyond. And you've always complimented on this hat that I'm wearing. I looked so hard to find this exact replica, but I got something close for you, Coach. So I got a little gift for Coach Steve Turner. Sorry, right. I knew the faces from Kurtis and Krissy be like, oh, Steve.
No. You know what my face is for? You snuck it in here and nobody knew it. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, that's why I always bring the backpack. You never know. It could be chaps. It could be.
It could be whatever.
It could be my Roy Rogers holster. You never know what's in this.
It could be hush money.
Coach Turner, this is the closest thing. I got a little Clemson Tiger little hat for you.
Yes, sir.
Steve loves the hat. So
thank you, Coach.
There you go. He's part of the fam now.
You sneaky little sucker.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Here's my question, though. I need to rewind a little bit. You took them out to breakfast, brunch, lunch, whatever. Did you have any money left after feeding those boys?
I did not bring any cash. Everything, I didn't trade any money or anything. Just straight up credit card. It was a nice little bill. And they were these young men were very grateful. Everything was outdoor, beautiful weather down there. These kids were happy to be. It was awesome. I had a blast.
Well, as goes Krissy, goes me often, yard work, doing this, that, and the other. I am excited because I've accumulated so many points on one of my cards that we finally got in our gift cards. So there will be a Morton's trip this week for me and Paula.
Let's go.
We'll be going to Morton's, and I will definitely send you guys photos. You know I'm going to do that. All right. So listen, last week we had a morning skate with Tariq El-Bashir, senior reporter for the Washington Capitals hockey with The Athletic. We had fun with that episode, and we invite you to go back and take a listen to episode 12 and our entire catalog of episodes, which are available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, iTunes Music, and wherever you get your podcast content. Let's hit our first break, and we'll be back with this week's headline.
O'Neill Development is a custom builder in Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the Eastern Shore. Recognized nationally as a premier builder, O'Neill Development has received awards for historic restoration and urban infill work. Committed to best practices in green building, O'Neill Development also provides support in budgeting, architect selection, and design development during the critical stages of planning. O'Neill Development, building, remodeling, and development since 1975. Find us at www.o'neilldev.com or call 301-840-9310. Since 1939, the Collins family has served families of Montgomery County and Greater Washington with dignified professional service in their time of need. We continue the same family tradition today at our funeral home located just off the Beltway in Silver Spring, Maryland. Our family of experienced funeral directors stand ready to assist you around the clock, 365 days a year. Whether you wish to pre-plan or you have experienced a loss, please contact us to discuss how we can assist you at your time of need. Call 301-593-9500 or visit collinsfuneralhome.com.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill can be found on more than 15 podcast platforms. Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other popular podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word. Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill records weekly with episode drops each Thursday at 11 a.m.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Become a Friend. One Headline is brought to you by
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Request a free claim review with the property loss professionals. Insurance Alliance Group. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill.
We are back. Welcome back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. Today's episode is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Depending on what angle you see here in the studio, we have a monitor on the wall and we get to put sports on. And I have a question for you, Coach Turner. You're a basketball guy. We are watching the Buffalo Braves versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. With 19 points, who is the high scorer for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
In this game?
In this game here.
I have no clues on the daggone team.
Little hint to the folks listening. It's not LeBron James. It's not Kyrie Irving.
And it's not J.R. Smith.
It's not.
I have no clue, Coach.
Walt Frazier. Walt Frazier with 19 points on that team. The Buffalo Braves. This is when Buffalo had a basketball team in sky blue, baby blue.
I looked up 1977. That's when this game was being
It showed
played.
it earlier, but I didn't pay attention. Okay.
1977.
Yeah, so Buffalo Braves. That's the NBA TV. They had the retro games.
Just a couple years ago.
Just a couple. Just a
few.
couple.
Just a few.
All right, this week's headline. The NFL is likely to vote in favor of a 17-game regular season. Coach O'Neill, your thoughts?
I love watching football.
Okay.
It is great.
Okay.
Give me an extra weekend to watch football. I'm all in. Now, I'm sure they'd just take away one of the preseason games.
I'm
so
thinking,
you get
yeah.
3.
I didn't read into it, but yeah.
Couple pros and cons. The cons, I think it's for those up-and-comers that usually use that 4th preseason game to make their mark and to make a roster.
Sure.
Obviously, the cons as well is the injuries, concussions, things like that, kind of putting the wear and tear. But after last year, you haven't heard much kickback yet from players about this, and they're going to vote on it. But all the money lost. This is all about money.
Right.
All the money lost from a COVID year, even though NFL went through and had a season, all the money lost. I think betting has a lot to do with this to pick up some money there. The fantasy football, it's been discussed for years, but I feel like if there was ever a time, now's the time when they're going to be able to
Things are fluid, right?
To pull this off. But if it's not broke, why fix it? NFL really hasn't been broke for years. So
you ready for records like 9-8?
I was definitely going to say that. Is that I don't know why if it's not broke, why they're trying to fix something, but we all know what it comes down to. It's dollars and cents, no doubt. And I would have the same type of cons as you, Coach, just worrying about injuries, wanting to make sure when we do get to the playoffs, the best of the best are on the field playing and not banged up from one extra game. And like you said, even going another step further is how about those guys who earn those roster spots from that last
in
preseason game?
4.
So I hope that doesn't affect that, but I totally understand why they're doing it.
So one other thought that just came to my mind, thinking about, what does this affect? And I know as coaches, don't worry about them, but stats. Guys that get close to that 2,000 rushing seasons, how's that going to go historically? Guys that catch over 100 catches, how many, 4,000, 5,000 yards of receiver, guys throwing the ball, quarterbacks. So stats, that could really mess with historically, that one more game.
But here's the thing, every sport has done that because the NBA, these stats count now. They play 82 games versus what they played back in the day.
Right.
Or in baseball.
Right.
And the fields are bigger.
Sure.
They're cut differently, the aerodynamics of the ball, all of that. So I think they still measure the stats. Babe Ruth's stats are supposed to go up against Barry Bonds' stats or Pujols' stats. And is that really fair? Because Jim Brown had the rushing record in a 12-game season.
Yeah.
And he quit before he was 30. And he still had that record well into our lifetime.
Right.
Sure.
Right. So if you're a badass,
if you're a
dude,
certified
badass.
You're a dude.
Right. So, but I had that exact concern, but I had to wave bye-bye to that years ago because they're not going to change it for me. You think they'll go to 3 preseason or 2 preseason? Because this year they had. Did they have any preseason? I'm trying to remember.
Well, they did have a little bit,
like 2 maybe,
but they didn't have scrimmages or anything, or excuse me,
7-on-7s.
Yeah, you didn't have the practices where they were together.
Pittsburgh would go to Philly.
Yeah, doing offense, defense, and,
right.
and all that stuff.
Let's pick up the phone, call D-back, former guest, DeMaurice Smith.
Let's get him back.
Just to see what he says.
Krissy, can you get DeMaurice Smith on the phone? Hey, if you guys missed it, we did have DeMaurice Smith. We had Quentin Hillsman. We've had some names these past few weeks.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to tell you, listen to our catalog. See if you're letting the cat out the bag. He's the sneaky one. Steve, look, you see the sleeve? He got stuff up his sleeve, y'all.
Yeah.
Look, Steve Turner has stuff up his sleeve. Y'all better keep listening. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your one headline. Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. We'd like to thank our friends of the program. Shane Benson, Todd Bradley, Paula Cross, Susan and Brendan O'Neill Sr., Daniel Richard, Noah Richard, Andrea Terrones. If you would like to become a friend of the program, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend.
Gene the Barber has been in the business of making you look good for more than 20 years. Kids cuts, adult cuts, men and women, Gene has the experience and style you're looking for. Contact Gene the Barber for an appointment by calling him direct, 240-687-7253. Our producer uses Gene the Barber and he's available for your next barbershop visit as well. Call 240-687-7253 and tell him Turner and O'Neill sent you.
A Squared Home and Office Solutions is the go-to source for home or office network and audiovisual solutions. We can help with smart home integration, wireless networking, media rooms, security systems, and more. We will link technology to your style seamlessly. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info.
The Starting Five is brought to you by
Healthy Baller is dedicated to developing athletes at any level through customized programs created by our world-class trainers. Healthy Baller creates an unparalleled training experience centered around the athlete and coach relationship. Between our physical therapy team and strength and conditioning staff, we create an all-encompassing process to help injured athletes return to the field. Become your own success story. We offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
The Starting Five. Welcome back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. I am your host, Kurtis Cross, and I'm with Coach Steve Turner, Coach KC O'Neill, and of course our engineer is DJ Krissy. We are up to our weekly Starting Five. 5 questions asked of each coach. They've never heard these questions before, and they each have 30 seconds to answer each question. If they go over their 30 seconds, DJ Krissy, what will happen? You know, one thing I think the people should know is a lot of what we write in these scripts, we kind of go off script, but it's great to work with, DJ Krissy behind the board, you, Coach O'Neill, and you, Coach Turner. We can talk about whatever, and you guys just off the cuff. You're sports guys. I mean, you're coaches, you're sports guys, you're knowledgeable about what we're talking about. So it's fun to go off script, and you guys still have some good stuff to talk about. All right, here we go. The Starting Five, 5 questions, 30 seconds each. I'm starting with Coach Turner. Here we go. Yes. First real vacation you're going to plan when COVID is over.
I'm not planning it, but the wife is planning it right now. I do hit the 5-0, June 10th.
You do.
She has basically told me you have no choice. We are going to do a vacation in celebration of your 50th. So first week of June, Coach Turner's Audi 5000 piece.
So we might have to record in advance.
And we're figuring out where we're going now. Right now, it looks like Punta Cana.
All right. So I've been there. Have you been?
Have not.
If y'all need any info, we've been there. We've done all-inclusive. We've done it. We loved it.
Who'd you do it through?
We went to Dreams La Romana.
Okay.
Is where we went.
So this is vacation outside of Eastern Shore or the beach or visiting.
Yeah, outside of that stuff.
Eric and I were talking last night about, and this doesn't sound like this crazy awesome destination, but back down to the Jacksonville, Florida area, we really liked it. So near Ponte Vedra and going down to that beach.
Nice.
And we took our team a few years ago, and Mrs. O'Neill fell in love with that area, and she wants to go back to the Sawgrass, TPC Sawgrass area. And so that's hopefully where we're trending to take off to.
All right, coming back to me. Come back to you, Coach O'Neill. You were given the chance to pick one last meal. What would it be?
You trying to set me up to go back to episode 1?
I'm not saying that it's going to be.
You trying to set me up to go back to episode 1?
Your 30 seconds has already begun.
Last meal is going to be spaghetti and meatballs with Victoria's marinara sauce. Don't put your finger over on the ding there. That's so season 1. This is season 2. It's going to be that meal with a big just Merlot bottle of red wine and then some mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Ding, ding, ding.
Coach
Very
Turner.
basic, but that's it.
My last meal before they take me off the earth.
Before they take you off, or before you go to jail. I don't know.
I ain't going to jail.
I know you're not doing that.
I will.
Too much to be out here
Harry
for.
Carey before I go to jail. That ain't happening. I would say boned in ribeye, but I'm gonna go one more level up.
Yeah, you are.
The tomahawk.
You're going with the big cowboy tomahawk.
I'm going cowboy tomahawk with a side of spinach.
Creamed spinach?
Nah, I'm not a cream spinach guy. Just sauteed, maybe little onions and some bacon.
No!
Oh, that's not 30 seconds.
Oh, it sure was.
He took your time.
I don't care.
No?
Well, I ain't done. So you're gonna listen to what I'm going to have,
I
and
just got really hungry.
and
Does that mean I get to ding
maybe
again?
like some garlic mash potatoes. And for the dessert, we're going cheesecake, but it's got to be graham cracker crust.
Got to be. I'm going pot roast, macaroni and cheese, Paula's
Not
collard greens.
You went there. I love the garlic mash, but I'm flipping it. It's got to be lobster mac and cheese.
You talked about that before.
It is.
I'm
Lobster
going mac and cheese with the collard greens.
Lobster mac.
And if I'm going to have breakfast, though, y'all don't know this. Chrissy's scrambled eggs, ridiculous. Ridiculous. I haven't had them in forever. She made them today.
Favorite breakfast side?
Side?
Outside of eggs, pancakes, and
Any meat. I can do any of the meats.
sausage, bacon. Yeah.
Yes, all of the above. Her cheese eggs are great. Paula's French toast is ridiculous, but those breakfast potatoes we make, oh my.
Corned beef hash is my favorite
Really?
breakfast side.
Are you a breakfast guy?
I could do breakfast all day. I'd eat just breakfast. If
Paula could not sit at our table.
If I was made to just 3 squares meals a day, I can go all breakfast all day.
I can go all breakfast. Chrissy, what's your last meal? Talk to the people. It's going to be Brussels sprouts. I know that.
Oh, they got to be roasted though.
Okay.
Good. There's a lot of things that I like, so
Okay.
I don't really know.
Okay. But Brussels sprouts are in there.
Brussels sprouts are in there. I do like the idea of like stuffed shells with cheese and anything with cheese, really.
Right. What else? What's the meat? Are you going to put meat? I got you, cuz. I got you. What else?
I don't know. I'm concerned. I feel like there's
So
a
Brussels
double
sprouts,
team coming
stuffed
up
shells
here.
with cheese. Go ahead. Too much time.
Too much time, Krissy.
Oh, she's mad. Don't piss off the engineer.
She still has to edit
Everybody's
this.
getting dinged.
She said everybody was getting dinged. We had to bring her in.
Right. We had to bring her in. Takeaway wins and losses. Coach O'Neill. What are your highs and lows of coaching?
The highs of coaching are the moments usually before practice and after practice. Just those conversations where it's not, it's about the day they had, anything funny going on, and it just us being not as consumed yet with the practice or the game ahead, and just us, the fellowship. So that could be in many different ways. The lows, she's getting ready.
Go ahead. we're
It's too
listening.
late. You can't know those. I would say the lows are usually the tryouts. You know, telling a young man,
Right, yeah.
we're not keeping that. That's the lowest of the low. Dealing with difficult parents is a big low, and the losses aren't the lows really. It's just sort of those things I mentioned right there.
Coach Turner, take away wins and losses, your highs and lows as a coach.
Well, I'll just go lows because he just said them both real quick. Those are the two biggest lows for me. Cut days and parents who just don't get it.
Right.
The highs, it's not even just the winning. I mean, certainly you're going to get a high off a win, especially for a big win against a nationally ranked team or the rival in your league. I think the highs for me is watching those guys when they get to pick the school they're going to go to.
Yeah.
Watching those guys after they pick the school they're going to go to and they get to walk across that stage and get their degree. I think the funnest high for me is graduation day when they all got on their white coats.
I mean, right in the nick of time. Was that a buzzer beater?
That was a buzzer beater, baby.
That was a buzzer beater.
That was Steph Curry.
Were you down by one or down by two?
I was down two. That's
Wow.
Steph Curry. That's Steph Curry from 40.
From the logo?
That's from the logo.
All right. Coach Turner, coming right back to you.
Yes, sir.
What rule change do you want to see in your chosen sport on your level? So WCAC play or high school play.
Ooh. I'm going to defer.
All right. Lacrosse, WCAC lacrosse.
Yeah.
What rule change do you want to see?
There was a similar question to this episodes back, and I talked about there's a dive rule that we play. But at the high school level, this is a good question. Normal seasons, I'd love to be able to have a little bit more time to develop our team before the season starts. I feel like
Longer preseason.
case in point, I know I'm going to go over. Spring season is the shortest season. So lacrosse, baseball, rugby, crew, tennis, golf
Go ahead.
have in the WCAC. Football starts in August. They go all the way to November. Basketball starts in November. They go all the way to late February, sometimes into March. We get the last week of February, and then 1st of May, it's done. It's not fair. So that rule needs to change.
That's not a rule.
I was going to say, for me, mine's not
and
a
then
rule
this year
either.
we get pushed back to the middle of April when football and other sports are still going.
My rule
It's a joke.
change, not that it's a rule. Y'all have heard me bellyache about this before. Stop blowing the damn whistle so soon when girls have a mutual possession. Let them fight a little bit longer for that jump ball.
Yeah, that I would agree on that.
Because, I mean, it's Krissy dives for it, Paula dives for it, boop, whistle goes right up. You know, give them a little bit of time. Coach Turner, what rule change?
I'll say this, for the WCAC, we do a pretty darn good job of watching the rule change above us.
Okay.
And adapting them
Okay,
pretty
okay.
quickly. So for basketball, I don't know that I have one personal one, but you may want to make sense. Is the jump ball? Like, I think throw it up.
Yeah, throw it up.
I think throw it up. Like, stop giving. I don't know. That to me, that's like the
Alternating possession.
alternating possession. Like let's see who can go win it.
I agree.
Like I'll take that thing because this one
You're passionate.
This one's passionate for me.
Might break
And
that thing
so,
today.
Krissy, how did you know all these were going to be dings today? Because you were on it. Like
Because I usually give you a little extra.
no, but I mean like I
All that
think
mulch,
you
man.
realized based
All
on
that mulch this
I do
weekend. She's
think,
pissed. Her
I do
fingers are
think
dry.
you realized based on his question that we were going to have lengthy answers. Is that true? Am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah, everything's going out the window.
But back to that
Toss it up.
jump ball. There's some guys in the game that I think can change. That could change a game in a certain way. Hey, if my big 6'8" kid gets tied up with a 6'1" kid down the stretch, and that would have been an alternating possession going their way, and now we could potentially keep the ball in the front court.
Right.
That's an advantage.
Exactly.
I'd like to see it.
All right. This is where we go a little different. I'm going to start with Coach O'Neal. I'll give each of you 5 things, 5 different things, and yours are going to be different than his.
Okay.
So, and let's see what your responses are. Coach, so there's 5 more coming. Coach O'Neal, 5 in a row for you.
Wow.
All right. Toughest game. Oh, shit. That's Turner's. So we'll get back to that. I messed that up. All right.
all good.
Coach O'Neal, best Washington Capitol ever. Go.
Alex Ovechkin.
All right. Cross country in an RV or a train ride?
RV.
Eliminate 1. Caps, Wizards, Redskins, Ravens, Orioles, or Nets?
Ravens.
Definitely.
See ya.
Fast food, best fries. I was
McDonald's.
packed with-
McDonald's.
I was packed with them today. I had to give you all
McDonald's.
extra.
McDonald's. By the way, Peter Bondra is my favorite cap of all time. Just to let that clear.
But not necessarily the greatest in your opinion.
Alex Ovechkin.
Okay. Best gift Erica has ever given you?
Man,
Because that'd be weird if I asked you that. So
that'd be really weird. Best gift ever given by Erica. The babies.
You know what? I knew when I wrote that would be your answer. Your 5 questions, sir. Toughest game you've ever coached? Besides the game of fatherhood.
The first one.
The first one, okay. Best Redskin ever?
That's tough for me. But I'm going, I got to go with my boy, Mr. Taylor. God rest his soul.
All right. Best board game you play?
Me?
Yeah.
Like
the one you like the most.
That I like the most, or that I got some.
That you dominate? No, the one you like the most. Like with the family.
Monopoly, man.
All right. Relive your wedding day or the honeymoon?
My wedding day.
Low end theory or midnight marauders?
Midnight Marauders.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting 5.
Well done.
The starting 5.
Body and Beyond Wellness is acupuncture and wellness consulting. Our peaceful oasis is nestled just outside the Washington, D.C. Beltway. Our acupuncture treatments, workshops, and other wellness offerings will have you feeling restored, renewed, and revived. A limited appointment schedule is now available, but you must call in advance to schedule. Call 301-758-7980 or visit www.thebodyandbeyond.com for more info.
Winsight Media. Winsight delivers connections and intelligence to 4 of the fastest growing verticals: convenience retailing, grocery businesses, restaurants, and non-commercial food service through broad and cutting-edge platforms. No company is better positioned to meet the food industry's needs than Winsight. Connect with us at www.winsightmedia.com.
Let's get social. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
Connect with us on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and then click subscribe.
This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual home buyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, Maryland, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Welcome back to the studio, and thanks for joining us today. Today, we are having a roundtable discussion. We've got lots to chat about today, from March Madness, the women's and men's tournament, to the NBA trade deadline. Baseball is about to begin, and of course, both coaches Turner and O'Neill have programs at Gonzaga College High School, which have been affected by the pandemic. So what happens from here? First up, let's get into the latest with your respective programs. Coach O'Neill, you are on the cusp of a season. 1 year after the program was shut down, only days into the spring season. Where do things stand now?
Countdown is on. April 12 is the official start date for our WCAC.
Okay.
We are first game for April 27. League play. 9 league games set up. If we have the capability to play maybe 1 or 2 out of conference, we will.
Gotcha.
We've gone in Maryland and Virginia, far and beyond, to get some workouts in and practices in with the guys. They're going to get an opportunity to practice with another team tomorrow. So when this airs, we'll have a good idea of where we stand.
There's going to be some injuries. People going to want to hit somebody.
They're going to be
somebody going to want to hit somebody.
And look, the most important part is getting a little bit of film, because there's such limited film right now. So we've filmed these practices. We've had inter-squad scrimmages so that we can get these kids the opportunity to send it to college coaches and be able to go and practice with somebody else. But there's hurdles and steps to be taken. The kids got to show the negative PCR test. They got to, make sure that they're driving themselves and bringing their own water, all the things that everyone's dealing with. Look, going into this season, there's so many pros. The pros are the kids are back playing the sport that they love. There's a season ahead. There's websites talking about it, and Twitter and Instagram, and people being tagged, and can't wait to see the Eagles play. And that's so exciting for the kids, but there's so much work that still needs to be put in. The biggest con for me, though, and Steve, I'm sure you went through this, it is there's nothing you can do about it but watching what others are doing, whether it's around the country or even here in the DMV, that might have the freedom to be doing more practices or playing more games or having more scrimmages. And that's the hardest part, watching that and then sort of tailoring to the kids' expectations and the parents' expectations. How can they do that? But control what you can control, make the best of it, nothing we can do, and we just focus on ourselves. So we're right around the corner, Kurtis. We're ready to rock.
How many teams are you able to field?
So we will have, instead of 3 teams, we normally have a freshman JV varsity.
Right.
We'll combine the freshman and the JV together.
Okay.
It's going to be moving a lot of hurdles and mountains to get them enough games, but you give them a chance to practice and put on the purple jersey and be coached up. And the varsity, so we'll have the 2 teams.
Did you get a chance to get into that equipment room, clean up some equipment, and get some inventory and do all that good stuff?
Well, funny story. It was 2 weeks ago that I got the last.
What if I don't think it's funny?
If you don't think it's funny, then I don't really care. So got the last jersey from 2020 season because of whether kids are on campus, they're virtual, to return the jerseys from last year. It took that long from 3 different teams, just a total mess. Get them all in, but the jerseys are ready to go. The new game shorts, got the decals for the helmet. We're ready to rock.
That was often a fun time for me, just inventorying everything, laying everything out, getting locker nameplates together, getting the whole package together for the girls.
No such thing as the lockers anymore.
Right? Not now.
That's gonna be their car.
But giving out equipment and doing all that stuff. By the way, I found out something yesterday. It's no secret that I have a few podcasts that I produce or I host or edit or whatever. I was editing a podcast yesterday for a young lady who went through a whole bunch of stuff medically. She is a lacrosse player. And I said, what position do you play? She wrote a book. It's a whole thing. I'll share the book with you guys. And she plays defense. I said, oh, okay, you got the long stick. She said, no, that's only for boys.
That's for the boys.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not. Only the boys in that game.
The women's game is, look, it's similar in that, just get to the goal, put that thing in the back of the net, but they have a more of a wider field in terms and no equipment except for the eye mask and they probably have the mouthpiece and stuff, but it's a vastly different game. No long poles there. But I think all of the boys and girls are excited for the spring seasons. We've said this many times on the episode that the spring seasons were cut out last year.
Right.
And I think everybody, including the fall seasons and the winter seasons, really want to see those kids have a spring season.
Got to.
And you see it. Baltimore started. Baltimore and Annapolis leagues have started.
They never stopped.
MIAA, baby.
Let me call it. They never stopped.
And the clubs never stopped as well. And we've discussed this on different episodes. But they're rolling. The IAC is getting ready to roll. I think that the public schools here locally are going to have a season kind of similar to when we start, except a little bit later. And
it was great to hear.
It's the right decision.
With Montgomery County and the school system, to have my boy text me this weekend, Los, and to talk about his son in his first, varsity football game, having that opportunity to play for Northwood High School this past week.
That's cool.
And I've been getting tweets.
That was pretty cool.
I've been getting tweets from County Sports Zone, so some people are playing. And the young lady I talked to wrap that up, she was a Next Level Lacrosse girl as well.
Shout out to
I said they're one of our sponsors, Next Level Lacrosse. So what are you most looking forward to? We can be cliche and say just the boys having an opportunity to play someone else. But beyond that, what are you looking forward to?
So I told the kids, it was really in mid-February when we were able to get together. Now, it wasn't on our own field. It was in Maryland.
But you'll take it, right?
We'll take it. And there was that moment of watching them take a lap around the field to get ready to stretch.
You almost got misty-eyed, didn't you?
Very surreal. But then I locked in and told them, I'm like, you better behave. We don't want any accidents off campus or getting, shutting this thing down because in the snap of a finger. I'm really we said this in the starting 5. I'm looking forward to those moments before practice. Obviously, we have to be distanced. They got to be masked and things. But before and after practice. But April 27, when the purple jersey's on, we're playing Bishop O'Connell. It's a home game for us, assuming the mayor will let us have contact sport in the district. Otherwise, we're gonna be a road team.
It's moving.
But I'm looking forward to that. And granted, I talked about being vaccinated, but one of the last things I remember from last year was one of our senior captains who's playing at Navy now, and you take it for granted. He was getting ready to take the field in what we thought was our second game of the season.
Right.
And he came running over, just gave me a big hug, right? And that was amazing. And that's what I'm really, really looking forward to, just to be able to just high-five a kid, put my arm around him, and tap on the helmet. I don't know when we'll get to do that, but virtually here coming up, hopefully soon.
It doesn't matter the field. It doesn't matter two teams or three teams.
Fist bump.
You want to be able to get on that field, see those boys rock and roll, see them scrum around for the ball, and that first goal, that's going to be something, huh? You haven't seen a goal in over a year.
It's going to be electric. It will be electric.
All right, Coach Turner, for you, of course, we want next season to look different than this past season. If you would, please tell our listeners what the past couple of months have looked like with gameplay, and then what are you planning for this summer and headed into the fall of 2021?
Well, what it looked like was totally different. It kind of was really tough because I think one of the things that has made us be at the top of our game is being able to practice.
Right.
Yeah.
And not being able to practice and not be able to do those things certainly had us looking like a different team on the floor. But what was great about it was just being able to give them that opportunity. Like I just wanted to keep preaching, own the opportunity, have fun.
Get some film.
Definitely get film because that was something that was huge, and that film is starting to pay dividends in some ways. You know, a couple of my guys in the last few days have gotten a couple offers. My point guard, Devin Diggins, was offered by the new coach at George Mason, and then today,
I mean, just that quick, he just got the job, right?
Yeah, he did it the first night. He offered him. He was his first offer, and then today, Jared just got another offer from Brown. He did a Zoom call with him this morning.
Ivy League.
Yeah. So
Is that his first Ivy League?
he's done a couple of Zooms with other Ivies.
Okay,
they haven't gone all the way in yet.
Okay.
But that's the first one to go all the way in.
Okay.
And so what you want to have happen next year, certainly we want to be back at full strength. We want to be able to have all three levels, because I think that's the other thing that probably hurt me the most is not being able to accommodate in the way we've been able to. Freshmen had a rough year, in my opinion.
So you couldn't offer spots, like you normally do.
They would have a full team.
Right.
15 guys would have an opportunity. We were able to give a few guys an opportunity, but not all of them. And those guys aren't even getting like the full workouts and other things they could have done. Like right now, we'd be in our gym and they'd be playing pickup and having opportunity to play against older guys.
Just lathering up and getting some contact, right?
That's such a great point, and we went through it as well. I mean, we were already combining a final, the two teams at the lower level, but any time you could have gotten over the winter, and especially for us too, we're going to take priority to the seniors and the returners, and we're going to put them out there. And you're right. And think about it too, Steve. Like all the kids around here in any of the high schools, whether it's Landon, DeMatha, Gonzaga, it's really only the juniors now that'll be seniors next year that had a real full year at those schools.
Right.
That'll kind of understand it. The incoming freshmen, the sophomore.
I mean, I'm excited.
It's a mess.
I'm excited for those kids for next year.
Sure.
To see them get the full experience, because they haven't gotten the full experience of our school.
Right.
They haven't got the full experience probably at any school.
Together.
And so for them to be able to get back to being to activity, whatever, like we always talk about, whatever that activity is, band, tiddlywinks, chess, soccer, basketball, lacrosse, whatever it is. Like, I'm excited for those kids to be able to get fully vested and fully back involved in
the experience
into the experience
what
of
it should be,
their high school experience. So,
yeah, and my thing is that, the freshmen will understand, the parents have to understand, but like you said, I'm only piggybacking what you said. They come to these schools for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
For some it's sports, some it's drama, some it's the education, some it's legacy, it's whatever.
Yes.
They're just not able to get it in front of a computer at home. And when you're active, whether you're the drum major, whether you are the best cheerleader, whether you're the bottom of the pyramid, or whether you're your star point guard, or you're is attack lacrosse?
Yeah,
is that a
attack.
position?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you
All
go.
right.
Yes, sir, coach. Yes.
I mean, I can say goalie, but that's easy.
Yes, sir.
But whether it's an attack position player, they're not getting that. And some lacrosse is better than none. So we can't really complain there because the had to go through that. We're not singling out the Gonzaga freshmen.
No.
But
the other thing for me that is sad to watch is what you're watching at the college level seeking down to our level.
The portals.
The transfers. You know, and I get him. I hate to see them, but I get them.
Right.
Parents are paranoid. People can talk about all they want, the educations at the schools. That is never going to change. It is what it is. At a place like ours, it's great. It's probably one of the best educations in the country.
Right.
But I think sometimes we forget a little above our pay grade, that these kids, they do come for the education, but they don't just come for the education. That's a piece of the puzzle for them. And being able to have these activities is a vehicle. So now you're seeing kids leaving places because they're afraid that in the next year or two that maybe they're not going to play the minutes that they thought they could.
Opportunities
and now,
yeah.
So they're jumping to move to other places. And to me, I think some of those kids are going to lose out on, they'll probably end up getting what they want in the end result, but they're going to lose out on, to me, being a part of some fraternities that they should have been a part of for 4 years. And now they're jumping to a place that really becomes not the whole experience, just a piece of the experience to get to the end. And I feel like some of those kids are going to regret, and some of those families are going to regret those choices. And it's hard to tell a person that they shouldn't do that for their own child, because it's their child, and we all got to do what we got to do best for our child. But I'm being honest with you, there's some guys leaving my place, and I'm sad that they're going to do that, because I think they're going to lose out on something that's a little more important than
just hoops.
Just hoops.
That's a great point, because we certainly went through, families calling when we didn't even think we'd have a spring season a couple months, way back, and should we?
So you took some of those calls.
We did.
There are questions you couldn't answer,
and just be patient. There's again, it's to each his own. Every family's got their, parents have their obligations to take care of their child. And as I'm listening to you talk, Steve, I'm thinking about the end game, right? The end game, is it all just basketball? Is it all just football? Is it all just lacrosse? Because in a couple of years, things don't work your way in college, assuming that these players get to go play in college. Okay, great. If it's not, are you going to continue to transfer and just kind of jump around? And the final end game of all of it is, when you get a real job, when you get in the real world and you're 22, 23, you get a job. It's like, I don't like this job. I'm out. Well, good luck finding the next job. And the next job.
Because you need the last job for the next job.
Right.
I'm fearful of, and I'm going to talk to the black community in this instance, is that I don't want to keep seeing young men, any young man, it's not just the black community, but you hear about it so much more in the black community. The kid that you're teaching right now to run when adversity hits, that they're going to keep running forever. And that is something that I'm very afraid of. It's something that I think the NCAA needs to fix with this transfer portal, because they are setting men, all kinds of men, up for major failure if they're always going to run every time adversity hits.
You're crippling the kids. You're not empowering them by saying you can choose whatever university you want, because, again, I've said this 3 times over the weekend. To get to something, you got to go through something. And you gotta be able to face these things and say, you know what, I'm looking at your hat. I'm at Clemson. The opportunity that I wanted is not there. The world had to deal with this. What are we going to do now? One transfer, okay, it depends on your situation. Like you said, the situation might call for that, but just because I'm getting 16 minutes per game here and I can get 21 minutes per game over here, or this program and this conference is doing something different, now that conference is loaded. That coach can't recruit someone else because they have their eye on someone, but here it's a lot, Steve, and you've spoken to it. I know 2 or 3 times you were worried about that transfer portal.
Well, let's go to the NCAA tournament right now.
Okay.
A lot of higher seeds, still dancing.
Okay.
What do they have in common?
They have been together. They have that fraternity you were talking about, and they've got that experience because player A knows where player B is going to be on the court. They've played together for 2-3 seasons.
In a nutshell.
Preach! Can't say it better yourself.
In a nutshell. And that's what it is you're seeing veteran teams who have been together, that even through the pandemic, they've been cut short, maybe some practice time, maybe some more game film time, but they're more cohesive.
When you're juniors together versus not a hodgepodge, but a mismatch of freshmen.
And you spend those 4 years together with your brothers or sisters, boys, girls, schools. Even if you win or don't win that championship, if you win the championship, great, even better. If you don't, guess what? Championships, yes, they're there forever, but it's those experiences with those people. You
and only one team can win the championship.
Yeah, from school to school.
In case you took the words out of my mouth, because if you look, the way that the camera now is aiming towards both teams now after these games, look at the brotherhoods. Guys are being called off. There's deep emotional
there are tears,
embraces.
brother.
You can tell there's deep emotional conversation being had from one teammate to another in their appreciation of each other, whether they won or lost, and that's what it should really be all about.
It's great that you say that, because I was watching yesterday, and I know this is on the script later. I'm not going to go deep into it, but two Loyola Chicago players were embracing after that season was over. Right, the game was ended.
Sister Jean.
But they had obviously some tears in the eye, but there was a smile, because there was, those guys played together for 4 years. There was a brotherhood there, and there was a gratitude between the two of them, knowing, okay, this is over. But there just was. It's hard to describe. It was a real emotion, moments. But they were smiling through that emotion. Yes. They just lost. They weren't happy. They're smiling like, dude, because of this, I got a best man at my wedding, or a best friend.
Well, because you know what? The friendship that shone through everything that happened there. I know this is just the beginning of the rest of our lives as boys together, or the sisterhood together, or what have you. So for me, being unable to watch the high school sports like I've wanted to over this year, that sucks. I found myself saying several times over the past 6 months, man, it's Friday night. We'd be going to a basketball game right now. I can, in September, we'll put some food on the grill, and I'll literally go to All Met Sports or MPSSAA, and I'll look, and I'll be like, hey, Einstein's playing Seneca tonight. Let's go over there, something like that. And we missed being able to do that.
Sure.
And when you look at that, even in small chunks, that's revenue that the school misses, because we're paying $5 a pop. The kids are getting something at the snack bar or whatever. And for my sake, or for the sake of those who like watching, I don't have a dog in those fights just yet. But that revenue is being missed, and I don't know if fans will be allowed in the stands. I'd rather see the kids just play for now. Let's just get the kids playing. But that part we missed. You can open up the Washington Post, and there's a ton of box scores. And I like looking to see who scored what and who did what. I like looking. I know the coach over at Eleanor Roosevelt. I know coaches throughout the county. And I look, and I don't pay much attention to the WCAC in Virginia. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Mike. I'm looking at St. John's. Those are the teams I'm watching.
Sure.
But every now and then, Paul the Sixth will have a hell of a team. And I'm like, but even with Ashley Owusu, who she's a monster. We'll talk about her later. But, I get to see those scores. And that part I missed. Loved having time with the kids and doing all that at home.
Yeah.
But not being able to see you guys play. And we start this podcast. I look forward to maybe seeing some lacrosse. And I got to watch it on TV, which is fine. But I hope those kids have a great time. I hope there's going to be, one good thing that came out is that I'll be able to watch some streaming stuff, I assume, with you guys, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I got to watch some of your games. So that's fun to be able to do. But, we got some things that we got to deal with. What are you guys hearing from other schools? And we talk about the WCAC a lot, particularly your public school counterparts. What are they going through? I think they're probably more limited in the opportunities they have than you. Like for Montgomery County, I'm hearing like a 2 or 3 football game season, something like that. What are you guys hearing?
Very similar. Very similar. I mean, obviously the privates have had more access to do things or join the club teams. And I think, speaking of club teams or AAU, I think a lot of the public school kids have taken that route. Obviously, if they can't practice or do things, they're going to go play for club lacrosse or AAU.
But let's not also sleep on the fact that you say private schools have a little more opportunity. You guys are in a weird situation because the WCAC has teams in Maryland, Montgomery County, PG County,
the district,
and Virginia. So there's like 4 different sets of rules going on, or different counties in Virginia, right?
Absolutely, in different. I mean, Paul the Sixth is way
what counties do you have? You have Fairfax, I'm sure.
Paul the Sixth is Arlington, and
Alexandria.
I don't even think nobody's in Fairfax now.
Arlington, Alexandria, and Loudon.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've got Montgomery, you've got Prince George's, you've got St. Mary's.
Yep.
So that's 6 districts we're talking about so far, then DC. So you got 7 different sets of rules, which I know you have, how do I put it? That has not worried you, but that bothers you because can one hand talk to the other, right?
You start getting, what Casey talked about a little earlier, is that then the panic sets in. Well, Coach Turner.
Loudon County's doing it, right?
Well, they've been practicing since Saturday. Why aren't you guys? It becomes a mess.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane.
So for public schools, I got away from the public schools.
But I think the public schools
it's different. Northern Virginia has been playing football.
Christy Winter-Scott had a full season.
Right.
She had a full season.
They're rolling.
Now she's on the volleyball.
Yeah, they were moving and grooving. Maryland is a little different. Montgomery County is by far the tightest county in all of Maryland for that type of access. PG's been a little better. St. Mary's, I don't know if I think they just kept rolling.
You want to hear about St. Mary's?
Here's what I found out, though.
Okay.
Is that our kids, they're resourceful.
Right.
They figure it out. Like, okay, I'm not playing in my high school, but this function or this group has started this kind of a league. I'm getting out there and I'm finding a way to get film for myself.
And to get better, they're going to go to one of our sponsors, Healthy Baller. They're going to go work out. They're going to do it outside or inside. They're going to get it done.
They have not been totally idle.
Right.
And that was my biggest fear as I started talking to, like, DC. I worried for our kids who may be pulled into things we don't want to see them involved in.
Right. You mentioned that.
And so, but I think the blessing I've been able to see is that these kids from all walks of life, okay, they're from Montgomery County, Virginia, DC, they are smart enough to figure out there are things that I have to do to continue to get better. There's things that I'm going to have to do that when we do resume, I've got to have been able to do, and they're doing it. I think the best thing I saw this past weekend was the news that Montgomery County did is start watching the parks. All the rims are going back up.
Oh, Paula got a picture.
Yes.
She saw one today. The guys were there.
They're putting them back
with
up.
New glass.
New glass backboards, new rims.
Yeah.
I'm like, I keep saying I want to throw an outdoor tournament. I think it would be pretty cool.
Here's one thing. I did not mention this way at the top of the show. I got bad news and good news this weekend. So we have a friend that has a basketball court on their property. The kids had an outdoor workout.
I saw it when I came in here.
Yeah, you saw that, right? Uh-huh. And we played, just for the record, every summer we have SWAT with the kids. It's summer workouts and training. So they work their butts off through the summer. And at the end of SWAT, we have a tournament. Me and Paula are 2 years running champs. They have not beat us yet. Well, we beat them 11-5 the other day on our friend's court. However, in game 2, we had to stop. Chelsea got a jammed finger. Goes to Kazu yesterday. It is broken. She has a broken ring finger on her right hand. Good news is that...
What are you doing to your child?
No, it was a rebound she was trying to get.
I think you were hacking.
No. She wasn't even covering me. Adam was covering me. Ask Adam about that.
Well, you said Adam was covering you.
I was covering him.
But you may have covered her.
Whatever.
On that drive and hacked her.
Have you ever seen the movie Cable Guy?
I want to see the film. About? Show me the film.
Okay, I got some film right here. So here's the next thing. The good news is that her school has gone back. Fall sports are going full tilt. Spring sports are going full tilt. Not winter, so she won't be missing basketball at her school. So I'm good with that.
Does she plan to play any other sports?
Yeah. Volleyball, which she will not be able to do, and tennis is now for her.
Okay.
So volleyball in the fall, basketball in the winter, and then tennis in the spring.
So strong hand got hurt or weak hand?
Strong hand got hurt.
Develop
that left.
Develop that
left now,
hand,
right?
Baby.
Yes. So I heard from him, your counterparts at public schools.
Very, very similar situation. They're going to be starting a little bit later. Ready to rock and roll. I think the kids are very excited. As Steve mentioned, they're very resourceful. It's hard for me to think that it took this long because of Steve of what you just mentioned. Here comes the video.
There's video. That's not the one of her getting hurt, though.
Okay.
That's just her getting up some shots.
I love that court. Absolutely. But my biggest thing after all of this is, especially in our city, so you tell the kids to go to a virtual school and then sit there and not be outside.
Right.
What's so funny over there, Krissy?
She's watching something on the screen, I think.
Oh, my gosh. Is that a Geico commercial, Krissy?
That got her.
Geico has her locked in. Is that your car insurance, Geico? Should be. You're laughing hard enough to.
It was.
Okay, good.
It was.
She left them.
So, what else are you going to do with these kids? You're going to make them forced to do bad things or gather or do or
do stuff to not get them back on the field or court.
We've proven that we can go out there as coaches and safely mask up and safely distance, exercise, train, and do things. Healthy Baller is a perfect example of it. So why are we depriving our kids from being able to do that? Now, granted, and that's more or less for the city of Washington. It just blows my mind.
You can have an email from the city in your email box when we're done here. All right, DJ Krissy, let's wrap up this segment. Let's have a word from our sponsors.
Building your brand is an important part of your business growth. By advertising with Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill, you'll gain the exposure and brand recognition behind our podcast. In Season 1, we reached a total of more than 100,000 listeners, viewers, subscribers, and website visitors combined. Your company will benefit from our popularity online and during the podcast. Advertising with Turner and O'Neill equals exposure on Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and more than 15 listening platforms total. Inquire today and let's partner to build your brand. At Peace Players, we use the power of sport to unite, educate, and inspire young people to create a more peaceful world. We offer sport programming, peace education, and leadership development to those living in communities in conflict. We challenge the hate that is driven by the fear of our differences. We bridge divides between people through the game of basketball, and we develop young leaders who help to change perceptions. Find out more at www.peaceplayers.org.
Next Level Lacrosse. Train like a Spartan. Next Level Lacrosse is dedicated to providing a terrific lacrosse experience that is intensely focused on player development and character formation. Players at all levels will improve significantly through professional coaching and carefully designed training programs. We stress proper technique and a tireless work ethic. From beginning programs to rec leagues, travel clubs to summer programs, we develop the young and experienced players alike. Next Level Lacrosse has a rich tradition of running the best middle and high school lacrosse leagues in the DMV area. You will find us at www.nextlevelspartans.com or call 240-497-1460. This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
The Tamara Cusick Team. Ready, set, sold. Real estate is more than just houses. It's about people too. The Tamara Cusick Team offers an all-inclusive approach, making the home buying and selling process efficient, financially smart, and stress-free for you. From home prep-up to complimentary staging, expert counsel to an experienced and qualified team of professionals, let's chat houses. The Tamara Cusick Team isn't just a partner. They literally sold us the home where the Take a TO broadcasts from each week. Visit www.tamara4homes, that's the number 4.com, or call 301-780-4663.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. We are back with Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Thanks for listening and watching as we enjoy meeting you here each week. Gentlemen, let's get to the story that dominates the sports headlines this year. March Madness. Coach Turner, we know what this means to you, so we will start with you. What did the last week show you in terms of tourney time living up to its name, March Madness?
Don't underestimate
the power of
veterans.
Right, okay.
Veterans and you know what? I think you're seeing is a shift in the coaches.
Okay.
I think what you got to see in this March Madness and it'll finish out that way. The blue bloods aren't there. Okay. Coach K's, the Calipari's, the Roy Williams. You're seeing the new faces of college basketball in terms of coaching, and I hope that these kids are learning that you're seeing that when you stick something out and you have an opportunity to grow with a group, good things happen. As I called out, my dark horse is still wrong. Houston, baby.
They play tonight, don't they?
They play tonight.
You know what I was especially happy to see? I just liked seeing Juwan Howard and Leonard Hamilton, that matchup.
Yeah.
I like seeing that coaching matchup.
They're very good friends, so
okay.
To see those guys go against each other and the respect that they have for each other, it was great to watch.
Did Hamilton ever get to coach against LeBron or coach him? Because LeBron's a good bit younger, I think. I just don't know through the association because Leonard Hamilton was an NBA coach.
I don't think so.
So that's the relationship. They drafted Juwan to the Washington Bullets at the time.
Yes.
He was the head coach.
Is that the relationship?
Weber
Okay.
Came in, and that's where
I did not know that.
started there. How crazy is that?
I did not. I really did not know that. Okay.
5 came out, and 96.
Oh, okay.
And they got both those guys.
And I never really paid much attention to Juwan Howard because I'm not a Bullets or a Wizards fan. I've become more a fan of his now, and I love him as a coach. Just love him as a coach. This is your segment, though. I'm sorry.
No, I think and then you have some guys who I think could have, it was good to see Syracuse. Coach Boeheim, who I think people wrote him off, ride it to as far as he could, and to watch him do it with his son.
Yeah, that was
like
awesome.
balling out. Like that was huge. But it was fun to watch the Oregon States, they were picked last, won the Pac-12, and now they're heading to the Elite Eight.
Still dancing.
Jay Wright still shows that he can really coach his team up. I think if they have Colin Gillespie, they're still dancing.
Okay.
So to me, as I always say to you guys when we talk about all the sporting events, I love seeing the new faces.
You do.
And this has made March Madness for me fun, and excited to see what the next 2 days bring.
Coach O'Neal, looks like the Cinderella story is no more with Loyola, but there was plenty to watch and much excitement. Give me your take over the past few days, and we still got one more night of ball to play, right?
That's right. Tonight, and tomorrow night. 2 games tonight, 2 games, and we'll talk women here in a second once I finish my thought.
Oh, please,
I did a little research on this question because I was pretty excited about what you had mentioned about those blue bloods not being in there. And look, Loyola Chicago, credit to them. I don't know if they're as much as a Cinderella anymore. That's how Gonzaga used to play.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of, they're in this every other year.
I worry that they're not going to have him as a coach.
When you were talking about the Maryland, we were off record. If that goes down. So, Kurtis,
what's up?
No Big East, no ACC.
Okay.
Michigan right now is the closest team geographically to the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
So we're used to people and teams this side. So looking at this Elite Eight, it's been since 2012. This is hard to believe. 2012 since an SEC school won the NCAA championship. That was Kentucky. Okay. And it's been all Big East and all ACC that have won NCAA championships. If you include UConn in there in that little stint and Louisville as well, Big East, ACC. Yep. It's been for Big 12. Guess the year the last time a Big 12 school won the NCAA championship.
I don't remember the year, but isn't it Oklahoma?
Oh, it's Kansas.
2008.
Oh, I was going to go like 90s.
Go even further back. Last Pac-12 team, which Pac-12 is the leader in this Elite Eight. When's the last time a Pac-12 team won?
Did Lavin, his team's winning something?
It's got to be, Arizona?
1997. And for the Big Ten, this surprised me the most. Now, Michigan's still in there. The last Big Ten team to win the NCAA championship.
Was that Mateen Cleaves in them?
It's been 21 years. Michigan State in 2000.
State.
Was that Mateen Cleaves?
Yeah, it's been that long. And the craziest stat of all this, and those are some crazy stats if you actually Googled this and looked at it. Who was the last conference of all the big conferences to start and sort of slowly get sports back?
Who was the last?
Think about it.
Was the Big Ten?
No,
they announced it, but then they take it back?
Pac-12. Pac-12 wasn't doing anything in football. They weren't doing any workouts, shutting everything down. And they've got all these teams rocking and rolling that were even in the Sweet 16 as well. So those are my fun facts. I was shocked by the Pac-12, and even more so for Big Ten, for Michigan State being the last team to win it. I mean, it's been Carolina, it's been Duke, it's been Villanova,
Pac-12
has UConn in there.
Pac-12 has 3 left.
That's my stat.
And they weren't bringing anything back.
Speaking of hoops, the real ballers running real offense, running good backdoor screens. Tell me about this. And my heart broke last night with the Maryland women.
Yeah.
Ugh, my heart broke.
First of all, in that
what do you think?
Maryland women's game, I'm not so sure why we pushed the panic button. We're shooting threes, with a minute and 20 left, a minute and 40 left, or whatever.
Chucking them up.
Yeah. I don't understand why we don't understand long shot, long rebound, because why are we all packing it under the basket on 3-point attempts and the ball's bouncing, 24 feet out and we're not getting rebounds? I say we. I'm a Tennessee fan, but, I don't know what Brenda was thinking down the stretch. I'm a little confused by some of her ideology going down the stretch. So Maryland is out. For those of you, the cat's out of the bag. Maryland is out. Stanford is for real. Stanford is for real.
For real.
Yeah, they're like stomping mud holes in people. And I mean, you're ready for UConn to drop 100 points in their 116 matchup. That doesn't surprise any of us. At the same time, I wonder if we're like, that's what UConn does. We're not paying attention to them, but they're still as good as ever. Paige is ridiculous. She's ridiculous. But Stanford's for real, and Dawn Staley's for real too. Dawn Staley's for real. I think what you saw yesterday in Texas is that if you really clamp down on Maryland defensively, they were 40 points under what they normally score.
Yeah.
Right.
40 points. Defense wins games, buddy. Defense
At this time of the year?
Yeah, defense
no doubt.
Yeah, defense is what'll get you there. I'm interested in that Stanford-Louisville matchup. UConn-Baylor, we get what we did not get in January, right? And we'll see. I don't think Baylor's going to be much of a matchup for them. Oregon, like seeing what they did. They had 2 injuries down the stretch. They did end up losing that game, but I liked what I saw out of Oregon.
I think don't sleep on Baylor's physicality against UConn.
Really? That's a game you want to see as well, huh?
I mean, I'm certainly rooting for UConn, and I think they got some pieces that make them a little different, but Baylor's physicality could give them some problems.
South Carolina was the one team that I thought needed to lose for Maryland to have a chance beyond this round. Did not, it doesn't so much matter anymore because Texas took care of that. So I'm pulling for Dawn Staley now. That's what I'm pulling for. In love with Vanderveer. In love with her and what she's done out there. I want to see her keep winning because I don't want Gino to overtake her. He's like 13 games behind her. And if she stops right now and he gets a few more wins, then, Vanderveer, she's the winningest coach in all of basketball. She and Gino overtook Pat Summitt this year. Yep. I'm so disappointed that Pat Summitt, I think she stopped at like 1,099 or whatever it was. I wanted to see her get that next one. But no, the women's hoops, there's something to watch there. There are teams that you're not used to seeing. I'm looking at the bracket now. Arizona and Indiana aren't supposed to be there. UConn's supposed to be there. Baylor's supposed to be there. Louisville's supposed to be there. Stanford's supposed to be there. Texas is not supposed to be there.
Texas is not. And watching that game, those young ladies playing, they could sniff something was going on the Terps bench. Right. But by the way they were playing.
And Maryland started off 9-zip. It was Maryland's game to control throughout. And then they came back and Maryland did a few things, but Maryland relied on that 3-ball, and I cannot call out the name of their 3-point shooter. She went cold down the stretch, but Owusu, she's a monster.
She's tough.
As a sophomore, she is a monster. She's only 6 feet.
She'll be in the WNBA.
Oh, she'll definitely be in the and I don't know if she'll be in College Park beyond next year. Is she coming out as a junior? I mean, she's dropping 20-some a game.
Interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Thank you, gentlemen, for giving women's basketball a little shine right there. We are coming right back with our weekly sports wrap-up. DJ Krissy, let's do it.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Ray P. Cruz, Mortgages Intelligently. Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube. Just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com.
Be sure to listen now at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Google Podcasts. Download the app and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. If you're looking to increase sales and gain exposure, advertising opportunities are available. Contact our producer, Kurtis Cross, today. Email turnero'neillpodcast@gmail.com to get started.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by...
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Current social distancing does not allow for event gatherings in the traditional sense. When it's time to plan your bar bat mitzvah, office party, Sweet 16, or any event, we've got your party solution. Dynamic DJ Entertainment is your virtual event experts. Our virtual events division has perfected an entertainment experience like none other. We bring the celebration to you. Contact us for virtual trivia, office parties, nightclub nights, or any event. Dynamic DJ Entertainment is your virtual event solution. Visit www.mapdja.com or call 301-942-4500.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
Welcome back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. This week's episode is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Now, our weekly sports wrap up. Coach Casey, Just about 20 games to go. The Caps are in first place, but I know you. It's a bit too soon for you to feel good about where the Caps are because you are looking for meaningful play down the stretch at the right time. But where are we with pro hockey?
A couple episodes ago, we were talking about the Islanders on that crazy streak on how they were winning. And I said, well, I'd rather be hot in late April and May. And the Caps are kind of trending in that direction right now. They are winning.
50 points.
For some reason, now, granted, they took it to the Rangers this weekend. I didn't like how the Rangers came back this weekend. They were up 4-0 or whatever it was. They ended up winning 5-4. Hockey right now, excited for what the Caps can do. I'd love to see guys like Ovechkin. And our guest last week said flat out that he would love to see Ovechkin get that one more title, make that one more run. A guy like Zdeno Chara, who came over from the Bruins that they picked up. I think this team has all the makings to go far, but Tampa is the reigning champs. They are locked and loaded. Toronto is a young team that is so dangerous. The East, and just getting out of our little bubble with the Flyers and the Bruins and the Islanders, as I mentioned before, is going to be tough for the Caps. Out West, I think Vegas. I think Vegas is the top
Hold
team.
on, let's talk about Toronto. With a team that young, though, do they know how to win when it counts? They're not seasoned. They're not weathered, right?
They've made a couple pushes the last few years in the last year in the bubble, they made a little bit of a push. And the year before that, they're very dangerous. I think they're more seasoned than people think.
Okay.
And so, look, Tampa's clearly the favorite. I mean, that's the team that Washington's got to get through, but they got to get through those teams in the East. And it's insane to think in the hockey playoffs that you're only going to play your bracket all year, and then you're only going to play your bracket in the first round or first 2 rounds. I take that back because they'll take 4 from each. And so they won't see anybody new until the Eastern Conference Finals, essentially, or that final. Same thing with the West and same thing with the Central. So you would have no idea what that's like to skate against some of those guys. So, look, it's great to watch. I think it's going to be fun for this region to see Washington coming and rocking the red. Hopefully they'll get a few fans if they're allowed to. Baseball's doing it, but that's outdoor.
Let's stick with hockey. Will Alex Ovechkin retire as the all-time goals leader in NHL history? He currently sits at 723, 171 goals behind the great one, Wayne Gretzky, with 894. I've done the math, and he's just over 40 per game, or 40 per season. Which means 4 more seasons at that average pace to get the number 1 spot. I think he does it. What do you think?
I think he does it too. I think he wants to do it. Whether he does it in a Washington Capitals uniform, I'm begging and praying that.
Are you ready for this? He's already like 16, 17 seasons in.
I remember when he was drafted.
It seems like he was drafted like a few days ago.
He can do it. He definitely can do it. It's up to Mr. Leonsis and the management and their Brian McClellan, who's the GM over there, to make that happen. I think he wants to do it here. It's very quiet. You know, you hear more about that stuff in NFL and NBA than you do in NHL.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more in MLB as well, also. But I think he wants to do it. People ask him, and maybe it's because his English is, and he does a good job for speaking English over the years, and you can kind of see when they ask that question that, you know, he kind of defers a little bit, but a player like him, and our guest, Tarek, last week was talking about him, was telling us that one of the greatest generational athletes that we've ever had in this area. I honestly can't put my finger on in DC somebody that, I mean, who do you think? In basketball?
Well, because we haven't had the longevity of the players like we've had with him, right?
But for the Redskins, Cal Ripken.
Yeah.
I mean, Riggo.
But that long?
Not the longevity.
Not the longevity.
Not that long. But I don't
Art Monk,
think,
those kinds of guys.
Of course.
Daryl
But
Green.
I'm saying, I think Cal Ripken is the perfect analogy right there.
Yeah.
And it is my hope that he does this in a Washington Capitals uniform, and I hope people realize how dang special it is to have someone like him. I mean, I think he single-handedly he's changed the sport of hockey in this region, and he's changed.
And how did he do it? What's the biggest factor in him doing that?
He was just different. He was just a different kind of player. That
he
is
hasn't
true.
gone down for huge stretches at a time.
I'm gonna knock on wood. Why would you say that?
Right. It's a good thing he's never gotten injured as a Capital.
Well, because he's the one injuring dudes. He's running through them like a freight train.
All right, let's turn the table. The NBA trade deadline has come and gone. Coach Turner, while there were many moves, not all trades or moves were exactly newsworthy. So let's discuss the more noteworthy moves. Rondo to the Clippers for Lou Williams.
Love it. Take the ball out of the hands of the guys you need to do all the scoring,
right?
Versus them handling the load doing a little bit too much.
And now from the bubble, Lou Williams got in trouble by going to Atlanta. Now he can go to Atlanta and get all the lemon pepper wings he wants, right? He can get all the lemon pepper wings he wants.
But playoff Rondo.
Right? If he shows up, that makes them dangerous.
If he shows up, he makes them dangerous.
Yes.
And he puts PG and he puts Kawhi back in a position to do what they do. Score get buckets, and defend, because they're both two pretty darn good defenders.
Right. And they don't have to bring that.
They don't have to bring the ball to the floor and try to set everything up. I think that makes them a better team.
L.A., Mr. LaMarcus Aldridge heads to Brooklyn.
I saw that one and I was smiling.
Okay.
Because I'm a fan of him. I don't think he's ever gotten the credit he deserves.
He's been below there. He doesn't cause much.
No.
He's just there, right?
Does that overdo? I mean, you've already got your stars.
Because what happens now, Casey, I think you can rest your stars a little bit.
Down the stretch.
You got to think about it. You got 3 studs.
Yeah.
3 studs.
Yes.
With a guy like LaMarcus, you can create mismatch problems for teams that have weaker guys than him in their position.
On the second wave, right?
And being able to not have to have all 3 of those guys on the court for him to have success. You can play with one of those guys on the court, and he can have success.
And he can shoot the 3.
He can shoot the 3. He defends it well. He rebounds
his
it well.
His fade away.
I mean, his mid-range post-up game is really good.
Right. JJ Redick to the Mavs. Any firepower left in Redick's tank?
I mean, I think he's still a good shooter, but I don't think he's a guy that helps them get to the next level.
Correct. Kyle Lowry stays put in Toronto. They were fielding, at the last minute, they sent out a call and said, okay, we're ready to hear your last and best offer. Let's keep in mind, they made some moves earlier in the day to get under their 15-man roster to have a couple of spots open. So if someone wanted to package something, a few players for Lowry, they were ready to ship him off.
I don't think they can make a run up there anymore. So for me, I feel bad for him because I think he's talented enough to help somebody win.
They've lost a bunch of games, haven't
I think
they?
he can help somebody win now. So, I mean, it's nice to keep the face of the organization there, but I feel like for his career, he won one there. He did what he was supposed to do for that city. Give him a chance to go somewhere else and try to win.
Oladipo to the Heat.
It's a great get.
Okay.
Get some out of it.
Great get. He hasn't shot it as well as he normally does, but I think you'll see that come back. He's still bouncy and athletic. He's one of the hardest working dudes in the game, and he's a guy that can blend. He can fit in.
You know what he's not?
It's not all about him.
Right. You know what he's not? He's not the one that needs the spotlight, and Jimmy Butler will do that for him.
Yes.
So he can just be in there. My worry is that his injuries are real when he gets injured.
Yes.
So there's 30 games at a time where he's not playing.
Yep.
So that's my concern there. George Hill is now a 76er.
It's a good get. Good veteran.
Right.
Team guy in the locker room. Still can play. Can, again, help Coach Doc.
Right.
Bring these young guys along to do things the right way. Not just even talking about on the court, talking about some of the off the court stuff.
Right.
Keep the big fella tamed a little bit.
Right.
So I like that get.
Aaron Gordon, how does he help the Nuggets?
Bouncy athlete.
Yeah, he is.
Fun
he gets
to
hurt too sometimes.
Fun to watch. He does get hurt.
Right.
But he will give them another score. Guy who can play above the rim. Certainly defend, block, do a little bit of everything. Swiss Army knife.
I think in the West, set aside the Lakers, I think the Nuggets, I think they made the biggest jump with that move.
They definitely did.
And we saved the best for last, right? This last question.
I love L.A.
We love it.
Mr. Drummond goes to the Staples Center, and he'll be going to the correct locker room, not the Clippers locker room. Thoughts?
Double guy, as you said when we talked offline. Gives them, again, somebody like LaMarcus that can let rest these bodies. I mean, they got
but 9 years younger than LaMarcus.
Your best 2 guys are banged up.
Yeah.
He's a guy that can do some scoring and help win these games while these guys are maybe out for still a little longer. But then when they come back, as I said, he lets AD do what he wants to do now by playing face-up basketball at the 4 spot, even though I would like to see him continue to mix it up. I hope that they don't allow that to be, let me just be who I want to be, instead of keep being who we need you to be so we can win.
Right. My 2 biggest concerns were Drummond and LaMarcus Aldridge. On the Lakers side, I love having Drummond. Again, he's 9 years younger than Aldridge. I hope these guys have stayed in shape.
Yeah.
because you see what happened to Embiid. Embiid went on COVID protocol, was not able to participate in All-Star Weekend, although there's not a ton of activity there in terms of being physical. First game back, he gets injured. Aldridge hasn't played in a few weeks. Drummond hasn't played since January 12th. Or no, February. He hasn't played in like 6 weeks.
Right.
So I'm worried about the condition. Was he still practicing? Was he going to the Healthy Baller wherever he was? Was he getting that workout?
And that's got to be key in the head coaches of these teams. Be mindful to not just put them and rush them out there because of maybe the injuries
Some needs
you have right now, and be smart about how you do this.
Rapid fire fashion. Mike Woodson is the new head coach at Indiana University on a 6-year contract.
This is a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Originally, I thought the same, but I think he's bringing Thad Matta with him.
Okay.
So now he's bringing a guy who's gotten it done at that level.
Bring that Knicks magic, that New York Knicks magic to.
I think we know who they wanted.
Well, was the assistant with the Knicks?
Yep. But we know who they wanted.
Who did they want?
He said no. Jay?
No, they wanted Brad Stevens.
Ah, okay.
They bring Brad Stevens back. Indiana becomes a major player again.
Right.
And we're gonna see how this one goes.
Good for Mike.
I kept hearing a little bit about Calbert Chaney because he's in the NBA right now. And guy who played there and was the face of the program at one point. But we'll see how this goes.
U.S. men's Olympic soccer team fails to qualify for Tokyo, losing to Honduras yesterday, I believe.
Killing me, man.
I know Steve's a big soccer fan, but
Killing
usually
me.
the only time I'm watching soccer is when Team USA is in the Olympics or the
Right.
World Cup.
Not this go round. They will not be booking their flight to
I don't
Tokyo.
know I don't know what it is they have to do to figure this out.
Because this has been a few years now.
This is been a whole lot of years. This is a mess. They got to get this right because they got to get the men to be competitive like the women. I'm not saying they got to
Figure it
the women
out.
are going to win it all the time.
Figure it
but
out.
They got to be competitive. U.S. men's soccer got to figure this out.
All right, we got something to talk about. Opening day is this week on Thursday. DeGrom, Scherzer. Shazam! Talk to me about that.
That's a great pitching matchup. Look,
What? Who are you telling?
DeGrom is he's the best. He's the best right now. Scherzer has been the best, and Scherzer at 36 is going to be grunting, grinding. Nats have a little bit of a new lineup. The Mets on paper have what people predict
the
to
lineup.
be the best lineup.
Right.
Look, opening day, it's kind of like our opening day, right? People want to do too much. When hit the ball out of the ballpark, you're excited, and then whatever happens, there's usually a gap, and then they kind of get into the rest of the season. So what I like about this game, it's going to be on prime time. It's going to be on ESPN, game of the week or game of the whatever it is, Thursday night, and on Channel 570 on the HD.
Let's go.
Ready to go. I love my Nats lineup. I like what they're doing. It is spring training, but you're seeing some pop from Ryan Zimmerman. He's old, 36, 37. He's got 6 home runs in like 12 spring training games.
Okay,
I mean, that's insane. That's insane because they just usually go in and play.
that means he's on pace to hit 80
I
home
love
runs.
this guy, Josh Bell, Kyle Schwarber. We'll see. I mean, the Mets have been on paper for years. Everyone's preseason.
But this year's
prediction.
different, though.
It's very
We say
different.
that every
NL
year.
East is packed. Mets, Nats, and the Braves. The Braves are supposed to be top. Don't forget about the Phillies and Bryce Harper.
We ain't got to worry about the Marlins.
No, we don't. But we did last year during that little shortened season that they had when they came back. The Marlins made a run.
Kershaw, Scherzer, Greinke. Do they still have it?
Yes.
We're talking about
I think
Greinke
so.
at 37?
You saw what he did. At least
Scherzer
from
will
what
be
I
37
watched
for the end of this
in
year.
the World Series. They took him out when the Nats won the World Series in 2019. He was pitching Game 7. Greinke was, and he was dealing. Now he didn't have the velocity on a fastball in that upper to mid 90s, but he had them baffled. As soon as he came out, I remember Anthony Rendon hit a home run off him. It was a pitch he left up, but he was still dealing. And again, that was 2 years ago. Yes, he's still got it. Scherzer, we'll see. Kershaw's 33. That's young. That's young for a pitcher.
What about Verlander?
I don't know about Justin Verlander. I don't know.
He has choked more than once.
These guys are ready to go. They're locked. Their off-season workouts are great. I love these names. Baseball, bring it back. Let's just go get a hot dog. Ticket-to-Yo needs to go to Nats Park this year for
Dog,
something.
I live for the hot dogs.
Be one
and
of
the
those
peanuts.
5,000 people in the
Put
stands.
me in, coach.
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
traffic won't be as bad getting in and out of the stadium.
And here's my thing with those games.
I'm ready to play.
I don't even spend
Today.
much time watching the game.
Same
I just want to be
feeling.
under the sun. I want to get me a binge chili bowl hot dog, and let's just chill. Hit a crack of the bat and Do what we do. Last one. Sustainable changes to sports due to the adjustments made during COVID. My question more so is, what changes have we seen that we think won't go away even when things go back to normal, that we are in favor of?
Steve?
Anything in particular? I'd like to see a shortened preseason in football, for example.
Won't go away.
I'm good with that.
I think they'll test them. I think the testing for those guys will
I think
always
for a
be there,
while,
even if they are
there.
vaccinated. I think masks for the coaches will be there for a while, or at least the people that are on the sideline. I think fan attendance outside of the state of Texas will be limited.
In St. Mary's County.
Because it's St. Mary's County.
Oh, I meant to get back to that.
The Texas Rangers are full. Opening day, they're going to have 50,000 people in
We
there.
are booked for a prom in St. Mary's County, an in-person prom in St. Mary's County. It's the Wild West down there.
Wow.
They do
I
not.
want to tell you about South Carolina. I went in to pick up. I wanted to get like a coffee and a water when I was driving from the airport. I walk in, had the mask on. People look at me. Like
You're the only one?
Like I was crazy. I'm like, okay.
All right, so talk to me about how do you think things will remain the same in terms of bubbles or, for example, is the NHL, are they going to keep their regions?
I don't think so.
Stuff like that?
I doubt it.
I doubt
Okay.
it. I think it comes back to normal.
It'll come back. It definitely
So
will.
Toronto's not going to stay in Tampa?
There'll be a few adjustments. I mean, look, we're going to be in this for at least another year of, mixing and matching and figuring stuff out. But we're getting close.
All right,
not
Coach,
perfect.
anything from you, sir?
Nah, that's it.
All right, DJ Krissy, let's hear from our advertisers. We invite your questions, comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Submit Your Idea.
Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our partners, sponsors, and donors. Our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, Peace Players International. Our donors, Winsight Media, Gene the Barber, Body and Beyond Wellness. The final word is brought to you by
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual home buyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, Maryland, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
We are back, and now it's time for our final words. Some thanks, and of course, our weekly quote this week by Coach Casey O'Neill. We invite you to become a friend of the program. To do so, go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Become a Friend. We are now seeking advertisers for Season 3. In Season 1, we delivered more than 100,000 viewers and listeners to our advertisers. Now is the time to secure your placement in front of our audience each week. Become a partner, sponsor, or donor today for as little as $25 per episode. Advertising opportunities include on-air commercials, social media inclusion, YouTube exposure, and more. Our advertising spots will sell out, so secure your placement for Season 3 now. Here's the good news, guys. You have no payment to make until July. We make it easy. Reserve your spot with no payment due for at least 90 days until Coach Casey O'Neill says so.
That's 3 months.
So you look, that's 3 full months. Like, it'll be summer before you have to make a payment. We just got into spring.
Yep.
It'll be summer before we ask for any money. Just secure your spot now because you want Hollywood to endorse what it is you are selling. Connect with us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and via all podcast platforms to get the episode drop alerts. You know what that means? That means that my iTouch that I listen to at the house with music bam, it lets me know when a new episode drops.
Bam.
So you will get the episode drop alerts each time we release it. You'll be among the first to know. We encourage you to join the conversation, so write to us with your questions and comments at TurnerO'NeillPodcast@gmail.com. Before we sign off, many thanks to our listeners and viewers. We want you to spread the word, so do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend, and we ask that you help us to grow our community. I must thank our engineer, DJ Krissy, you two gentlemen, Coach Turner and Coach O'Neill, and of course, Paula. Thanks to our donors, sponsors, and partners. We encourage our audience to support those who support us. Krissy, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I'm just ready for another great weekend, another great week, and
The weather's going to be nice.
I'm skipping the week. We're going
Easter
straight
Bunny.
to weekend.
Easter Bunny's gonna hop
Easter
to
Bunny.
your hide some eggs for you to go find.
As long as they
Easter's
have
coming up.
marshmallow in them, I'm good.
We didn't talk about candy. We
We didn't talk about candy. Jelly
Oh, the
beans.
Easter candy.
Coach Turner, any final thoughts?
No final thoughts, but I do need to send a shout out. It is my mother-in-law's birthday.
Today?
Mama Lynn, happy birthday. Love you.
That's not Mama Lynn Daring with the good wings.
That's Mama Lynn Daring with the good wings.
She sent some wings here in December. I don't know if there's any left.
I remember it.
I don't know if there were any left.
No.
She put it on them wings.
She does.
Yes, and there was something else too. I mean, she has it all packaged up and it's displayed right, and y'all surprised us with that. That Mama Lynn Daring. I'm crushing on you for those wings, Mama Lynn Daring. All right, and you know what else she does? She likes every single Instagram post we put out.
She supports us.
She does.
She does support us. Coach
Happy
Casey
birthday.
O'Neill, your final thoughts, and you are on the quote, sir.
Final thought: it is good to take a step back every once in a while and just chit chat, talk about sports, pro sports, college sports, high school sports, whatever we talk about. It's a great episode, everybody. Quote.
All right.
The quote. It's a quick one. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. That is from Albert Einstein. So my point is, just don't be robots, everybody. Do some new stuff.
DJ Krissy, pull the plug.
Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our advertisers. Our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. Our donors, Winsight Media, Gene the Barber, Body and Beyond Wellness, and Justin O'Neill. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy. All material is the exclusive property of the podcast and may not be copied, rebroadcast, or used in any way without the written consent of the podcast. The views, ideas, and commentary of podcast guests are solely their own and not necessarily endorsed by the podcast. You may submit questions, podcast ideas, and commentary to TurnerO'NeillPodcast@gmail.com. No compensation is offered for submitted material. Should we choose to use your idea, comment, or question, you agree to your likeness, social media identity, and/or information being used on the podcast. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is recorded weekly and distributed via Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more than 15 podcast platforms in total. You can also view Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill weekly on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episode drops. Some portions of the podcast may be pre-recorded. Join us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and subscribe. Our website is www.turnerando'neill.com. Advertising opportunities are available.